Hello everybody. Today we are going to rekey a lock. I put some new doors in, and one of them came with a set of 4 keys. So I want to rekey my other door to match that. Now to do that, I didn't have one with a quick reset. They do make those, which are pretty cool. So picked up this REKEY lock set off of Amazon, and so we're going to use that. So first thing we got to do is take the knob off. So let's go take a look at that. All right, so this is the one we're going to redo. So we want to take this knob off first. To do that, they usually have 2 screws, one on each side here. With the door open, we're going to go ahead and back those screws out. So I'm not going to go over that all, with you watching, because that's, this will take a minute or two. It's not the best video, but after you get these off, pull them off, and then we're going to go get to work on them. All right, so we got the knob off, and we took the instructions and the tools out of that set. It comes with some keys that you can use. I'm going to put those off to the side. These are the current keys. This is what I want to make it into. Those are just the screws from taking the knob off. And these are the tools. So these little pins are what control the lock. And then some tweezers to hold on to it. And this is for one of the modified things when you look through the instructions. All right, so to take your knob further apart, we want to basically, we're trying to get to this piece here, which means this whole piece has to slide off. Now to do that, you find this little hole, and then when you bought the knob, it came with this little smart key piece. And what you do is you rotate the knob a little bit to where you can see that little slot, and then you shove this in here, and when you feel a little click, you can pull it the rest of the way out. All the time I was putting a little bit of pressure to pull it out. Once it starts moving, this piece here will kind of fall in there. So I just put the key in here. That way it kind of holds it in place while you can pull that the rest of the way off. So we'll set that aside. And now to get the rest of the way off, this little trim piece here will pop off. And now if we take our key out, push that, and now we have our key cylinder that we're going to use in order to make it. All right, so to rekey this, what we're going to do is we need to peel off this red thing. Okay, now when you have it in there, you don't want to turn the key, you don't want to put the key in and like turn it and stuff, because that'll screw it up. All right, so we need to take this off. And what I'm going to do is get a utility knife, and I'm going to cut on each side and then peel it off. All right, so I grab the utility knife here. Just be careful not to cut yourself. Just going to run a strip there, a cut there, and then kind of get underneath here to peel it up. Stuck on there pretty good because I don't want those pins coming out. All right, now that we have that piece off, all right, you take your existing key, put it in, you're gonna rotate it 90 degrees, and now you can see all of your pins. And you can see how it works. So once you start moving it, those pins kind of start moving up and down. So our goal here is to get them all to be how they are now, right? All flush with the top of the cylinder, so that when we put our new key in, I just buggered it up by doing that. But those pins popped out. We're going to have to take them out anyway. But if you drop them in, you can kind of see where they line up and where they don't. And they all have to be flush, right? So I'm kind of lucky where it looks like these first 2 are going to work nicely. That one is not. So looks like this third one is good too. So that middle one definitely needs to come out. So, you grab some tweezers or whatever you can to kind of grip it and pull it out. So I'm gonna put that one aside because I know that's not gonna work. And if I rotate it, I still am hitting the top. So really those 2 both need to come out. So I'm just gonna put my finger over the one I wanna keep here. Go ahead and dump that out. Move those pins off to the side. And then we have that last one I need to come out, which is that one. So now, with that one pin in there, it rotates freely, but we need to figure out what we need in those. So if we line our pins up, you know, they're all different lengths. Because first I'm going to try the existing ones and see what I can get to work. Okay, so we have that there. So we can take one, you know, this is the taller one. And if you look at your key, because I have it off to the side, and picture it turned around like this, and it's in there, you can see where they're long and they're short. Right, so I need like a longer one on this end. So if I pick the longest one in there and drop it in, it's still just a little too tall. So let's dump it out. This is all trial and error at this point. We put that in, and that looks like it fits really well. You know, the key turns and it's flush with the top. So I'm gonna take that long one again, plop it in there, and that's a no-go. So put my fingers over those two, drop it out, and then I have one more slot, which I know it's not gonna fit in that last one, and it's too tall. So plop that out. I know I cannot use this long one anymore, so I'm gonna put it off to the side. So now I got some shorter ones here. Now the shortest one might fit there, let's see. No, that's not gonna rotate. So even that one's a little too long. So that one is not gonna work. Throw it off to the side. And like I said, it's all trial and error. That one looks a little low to where I don't think that's gonna work. Cause it's just, yeah, it's still a little low. So pop that one out, and we know we're gonna need one a little bit taller than that one. So then we have our bag new ones here that came with the kit. So we can do this and take them off to the side. So we can grab them then, plop them in. That one actually looks really good. So like I said, you just kind of gotta grab them and see that one's not gonna work. And once you put it in, you can see that it's too tall. Let's try down there, and still just a little too tall. So if we look at the purple one, we need one that's just a little shorter. So what about maybe one of these? Pop that in. Oh, that seems to work out pretty well. So we have one left here in the middle. See if a purple one is too tall. So this middle one might be our undoing, where we have to modify one of these. All right, one of the important things to do is to not rotate this. You know, you don't want to rotate it, because when you do, especially without the things in here, there's pins on this other side that are contained in here that all line up. So when it's rotated, these pins will fall. So that's a big thing, not to rotate it when you don't have all the pins in. So when you have one that doesn't fit, what we need to do is shorten one. All right, so for this center one, we didn't have one small enough. So what I'm doing here is I took one of the smaller ones, I put it in a set of vice grips, and then you can take a metal file and you can start whittling it down. So after you get it so far, you know, you just want to keep testing it, because you don't want to take too much off. So as I'm watching and looking, you know, we're working it down. We could probably use like a grinder or something too, but most people, I'm assuming, don't have one. All right, so that took off a good bit. So now we're gonna take that, let's drop it in. It's looking, still got a little bit more to go. So I'm gonna finish that up, and then we will check back in. All right, so now we got that all trimmed up. It's looking nice and flush. we turn and everything moves, and everything is pretty lined across the top there. If you want to test it, if you turn it 180 degrees, you should be able to take the key out, and then it should go right back in, and then you can turn it again. I would turn the cylinder, not the key, because you don't want things to drop out on accident. All right, so now that we got that in, you can take your key out, and when you took this little red strip off, there was this little plastic piece. You want to keep that in there, so we'll put that back in, and then you want to put a piece of tape or something over it, kind of like what that red thing was. So I'm gonna go grab some painter's tape or some duct tape or something, and that's just to keep that in there. And then when it's inside the cylinder, it's all good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we will get it all reassembled. All right, so we put a piece of tape on there to hold it all together. So now it's just reassembly. So you basically do the opposite of how we took it apart. You take your lock, you can slide it in there, and if you might have to finagle it around because you want it sticking out like that. And we kind of take our little trim piece here, and that slides on just like that. Oop, and that piece just fell back out. So once you get it lined up, you know, put a little pressure or keep it down. I'm gonna keep it down like this. And if you look in there, you can see there's a little vertical piece by this slot. And so you take your other one, slot to slot, and it should glide right in. So now we can turn it, and it's opening. We take our new set of keys and we lock it. All right, so now it's not turning. Take our key out. It's not turning. Unlock it, and it's turning. So our new key is fully functional. We just need to put it back on the door, and we're all done. So that, my friends, is how we change the key or rekey a lock. If you have any questions, comments, concerns on that, please leave them in the comments below. Hit like, subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.